Hey KU fans, welcome back to Allen Fieldhouse with Benton Smith. I'm Matt Tate. One more time from the Fieldhouse this year.
Last time.
Emotional?
Me?
Yeah.
No, Udoka was a little bit.
Was a little bit.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean,
not as much as TCU was about what Udoka did to them.
Yeah, they were pretty saddened, heartbroken. I mean, rough night for them.
That
was part of their strategy, right? Just like they kind of chose to defend Udoka in a way where you knew he was going to dominate if he was healthy, and they got to find out, just like everybody else here did pretty quickly, that that ankle was just fine. Pretty good explosiveness, like going up and finishing slams, going after rebounds, defending. He looked way better than I expected he would.
100% agree. KU wins at 75-66 on senior night. Udoka Azubuike, a career high, 31 points. He added 14 rebounds and 5 blocks to that. He was dominant. I mean, that's the only word for it. In 2 games against TCU this year, he has scored 51 points on 23 of 28 shooting, grabbed 29 rebounds, and blocked 10 shots. Do you think they're tired of him?
Yeah.
I would be too. I agree with you, though. He looked great out of the gate. I mean, there was no sign of that right ankle injury early or ever, really. I mean, he ran the floor hard. He slid on defense when he switched onto a guard at least once or twice. He got on the glass. He got to the free throw line. I mean, everything he did was as if he wanted to show people, I'm fine. Yeah. Don't worry about me. I'm going to play hard. It's my last game here. And he did that, and he delivered, and then he gave a great speech. About 12 or 13 minutes, I think it was, which is definitely the over if you were betting on that in Vegas. So just a really great night for him. His host family was here to celebrate senior night with him, and of course he led this team to a victory that clinched a Big 12 title, and the trophy was out here, the hats, the shirts, a lot of smiles. I mean, this was what all these guys came back for. This was what all these guys were missing from last year, because last year didn't go the way any of them expected, but you really saw some of that tonight, some of that emotion and that just, I don't want to call it relief because I don't think that's the right word, but just validation of this is what it's supposed to feel like when you're in Kansas. Devon Dotson showed it. Isaiah Moss, the other senior tonight, didn't shoot the ball well tonight, but he had a blast. I saw him even in the hallway afterwards. He said, I'm so excited, man. I've never won anything like this. So very, very cool night for KU to get back on top in the Big 12. And of course, those guys mentioned we've got a lot left to do, they say. But tonight, it was just about tonight, and they dominated.
Yeah, I mean, just think about Udoka and the fact that he basically had to miss almost all last season.
Right.
Which, he probably figured would be his last year here, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because he had tested the NBA waters, kind of wanted to come back and kind of refine his game and kind of show what he's capable of. Well, he had to put his whole career on hold because he had ran into another wrist injury that, ended his junior year way too early.
Right.
And now you kind of get that glimpse of, like, Udoka at his best this year. And, I mean, when he's at his best, KU has a chance to contend for a national championship. I mean, obviously they had a great team 2 years ago with Devontae Graham, and they make the Final Four, but Udoka was a big part of that team.
For
and
sure.
Now he's like an even bigger presence, even more dominating, man.
Well, yeah, he's in the better shape.
Yeah.
And there's an urgency thing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you've seen it really all year, but certainly down the stretch here, the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's looked so just focused and locked in. These guys keep saying they're locked in. And I thought it was interesting after this one, because I asked Self and a couple players even about Saturday at Texas Tech. How do you stay sharp for a game that really doesn't mean anything? You can go lose that game and everything's still not hurt, and they basically just kept talking about how they're locked in, and of course it's a no pressure game, and that's something they're going to take advantage of, just go let it fly. But I don't think these guys can turn it off. I really don't. I think they have been so focused from the start of the year all the way through, and when you have guys like Devon Dotson who play the way he plays, and leaders like Marcus Garrett, and even Udoka has come into the leadership role a little bit himself. When you have those guys leading the charge, it's hard to turn it off. And I think those younger guys want to follow those guys and deliver for those guys, and they've been doing it all year. They're 27-3, 16-1 in the Big 12. 16-1, and they're not even guaranteed of it outright yet.
Nuts.
Crazy.
I mean, I kind of expected KU would have this kind of like dominant run through the Big 12. I didn't think they would have like the perfect foil in Baylor to like make it really interesting.
Right.
And we were like Self said tonight, you know, they were behind
most of the
season in the standings, and now they got a chance to win it outright, which, I mean, the way Baylor is playing is like the last thing you would have expected. But I am interested to see how KU plays at Texas Tech, because they look tired at times. Marcus Garrett's playing with like a sore foot. You know, Udoka obviously looked better than we thought, but I mean, just the wear and tear of a season kind of like wear you down a little bit, and you kind of know in the back of your mind, all right, we got that Big 12 title guaranteed. How do they respond?
Right.
Like, I agree with you. I think that they have the right kind of fortitude and kind of approach to everything that they do, and they're such a good defensive team. Those are the ingredients that you'll need to go finish this off.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, and it is kind of an unknown though right now. I mean, because 16-2 is still a pretty good record, but I don't think anybody's interested in losing. I don't think they look at it that way. I think they want to win this thing outright, and they want to keep it rolling. They've won 15 in a row now, and they're obviously heading into the postseason eventually on a really good note. I asked Self too if he'd consider or would consider resting guys, taking their minutes back against Texas Tech. He said flat out that he'd consider not playing Garrett or Azubuike if their injuries were a problem. They weren't tonight, but we'll see over the next couple of days if that changes. But yeah, I think they'll both play, and I think they'll play well.
Yeah, that was the least Self answer I've ever heard from him.
Couldn't believe it.
It's like the exact opposite of what he would usually, how he would usually approach it.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that too. One other injury note worth mentioning, Devon Dotson, who did hurt his left ankle in this game. It was Udoka's right, it's Devon's left. They're just in step. They could just do the three-legged race thing and see how they do, although that'd be tough with the height difference. But yeah, he said after the game, obviously he came back in. He said he was fine. He said at first he wasn't sure. He thought it was bad, but he went back in. He looked fine, celebrating. He looked fine in the media room. I mean, he'll get some treatment on that thing, and that was certainly good news for Kansas, because with Udoka dealing with an ankle injury, Marcus Garrett dealing with a foot injury, the last thing they needed was Devon Dotson to have some kind of injury.
Right.
And he did for 5 minutes there or so, and I'm sure a lot of people were like, this doesn't look good. Why is this happening? But it didn't matter tonight, and KU finished it off after trailing at halftime. They really turned it on in the second half and dominated. Any final thoughts from Allen Fieldhouse? The 15-1 season is in the bag here at the Fieldhouse for KU.
I think, like, for Self to even consider like sitting Marcus Garrett or resting Udoka Azubuike, I think it shows you how focused he is on what this team could do beyond the Big 12.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I really do think that's a big part of his focus. Is like, this is a team that can go to the Final Four. This is a team that can win it all. Let me make sure I'm doing everything I can to put us in the best position to make that happen.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, that goes against everything you ever hear him say in years past about giving guys rest, or, I mean, how many times have people asked him about, why'd you play this guy 39 minutes? You're up 20, like 5 to go.
Right.
Like, he just hates those type of questions in the past. This time, I thought he was gonna, blow up your spot. Like, well, let me tell you. But no, he was like, well, yeah, I'd consider sitting him.
Yeah, that was really interesting, and you're right. I think that's exactly what it is. It's talking about big picture. It's talking about how good this team can be. He called this group tonight during the senior speeches, he called them the most proud he's ever been of a team that's won a title, a Big 12 title anyway. And, some of that recency bias kicks in and things like that, but he kind of backed it up in the media room, and it was really about all the things they've gone through, the adversity, the stuff surrounding the program that's kind of been hanging over as a cloud, that none of these guys had anything to do with individually, but obviously, it's something they have to wear, and so I think he's really proud of how they fought through that, and then also fought through the idea of being the team last year that ended the streak and bouncing back and being 27-3 with 2 of those 3 losses games you should have won. It's incredible. They've had an incredible season, and really the fun's just beginning. So we'll be down in Lubbock this weekend for a no pressure, meaningless finale.
Playing with no pressure, I think, is the perfect way to approach it. I mean, of course, Self would think of that.
Right.
To start putting that in their brains immediately after this game. Man, no pressure.
Always with the psychology. For Ben Smith, I'm Matt Tate for the last time here at Allen Fieldhouse. Next time we'll see you will be in Lubbock, Texas, and then at Sprint Center, and then in Omaha. That's where they're headed. TBD after that. We don't know yet, but those are the next stops. So we're going to get gas in the car and get ready. Thanks for checking out KU Sports Extra. KU wins at 75-66, and KU is champions of the Big 12 once again. We'll talk to you guys again real soon.